Hi there, welcome to Kindred Women. I have with me a longtime friend. Her name is Jennifer Scribner, and she is going to tell you a little bit about herself. Hello.
Hi, Amanda. I'm so glad to be here today. My name is Jennifer Scribner, and I've been excited to do this and nervous at the same time. I really know that what God wants me to talk about today is something that not only have I been battling with for a very long time, but a lot of other women are battling with myself, or themselves. And me, I have 2 children. They're not really kids anymore.
No, it's crazy.
They're not babies.
No.
Kayla is 19.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
And Brenna's 15. He's going to be 16 this summer.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
Is he driving yet?
He's going to be getting his permit soon.
Okay, good.
He's going to be taking the driver's course next year.
Okay.
So, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
And then where do you work?
I work at the Christian Broadcasting Network.
Yes.
I am a prayer counselor.
Yeah,
and I
awesome.
absolutely love what I do. I've been there for 4 years now.
Good, good. I love that. I love prayers when I'm
Yes.
the best thing. So.
Yes.
Okay, so she is going to tell us a little bit about some struggles that she's gone through with her life. So why don't you go ahead and kind of start off with that?
Okay. So I was kind of letting God kind of lead this a little bit today, touching on some points of what I've been through my life. And the main point that I wanted to talk about today was my battle over the years with eating, weight loss, weight gain, the back and forth, bullying, just that whole ball of things that lots of people, but mainly women, I think, struggle with over the years. And I've heard a lot of people say, and I think I've even heard Mandisa say this too, she struggled in this way, as you feel like, you'll hear that expression, the elephant in the room. That is a lot of times what people say when they feel like, in reference to this topic, it's like you feel like the biggest person there, like everyone's staring at you, but you also feel like the most invisible thing in the room too.
Wow.
And a lot of times I've struggled in that way. And years past, when I was a young teenager, I was not confident in myself at all. I was picked on, I was bullied. Even before I really had a big issue with weight, there seemed to be always something that I was picked on for. Back in the day, before it was cool to wear glasses, you had 4 eyes, or I was a tomboy. So I was picked on because I would rather
girly enough, or
I would rather be in the mud and play with Matchbox cards and things like that. So there was always something like that.
Yeah.
So it was just like this. Through life, there was something that always brought me down.
Okay.
And I had a very loving father, but he sometimes would make comments too. But he was trying to say them out of love.
Right. Yeah. They do that.
They try. When I was about 16, I was probably about 40 pounds overweight for that age. Wasn't a lot, but at that age it was.
Yeah, 16
and,
is a hard age.
He said something, he looked at me one day and he said, "You would be so beautiful if you just lost about 20 to 40 pounds. And that just crushed me.
Yeah.
It just crushed me, and it stuck with me. See, I still remember it now. And I know that he meant well, but that was just, it stayed with me because it was my dad who said that.
Right.
And I was very sensitive. So to say that, that's the reason why we're here, why we're talking about this today. Because I have had reasons, and not that I'm justifying anything, giving reason to anything, but we're human. And this is the battle. And I wanted to be raw and I wanted to be real because it's very hard to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can't sit in the shadows anymore.
No.
We can't hide.
Yeah.
And in order to get help, and we need to find friends. We need to have people to lean on instead of feeling, if you go to someone and talk to them, they're going to be like,
right.
I don't want to talk to you. Just don't eat. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Go to the gym. Because you feel like that is what you're going to hear. And I've struggled in that way for too long. And I know there's a lot of people out there, whether it's 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 400 pounds, there are people who are struggling in that way.
Yeah.
So just to back up my history, just to, hit on some points on why I feel it's been such a battle. is I can remember even when I was young, hiding food
Okay.
at a young age.
Yeah.
12, 13 years old,
Mhm.
that my mom had no idea I was doing.
Okay.
I had a little suitcase under my bed,
Yeah.
as when it was like going to grandma's little suitcase that
Mhm.
I had when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And I would get snacks and things and hide them, and when no one was looking or
Okay.
gone to sleep.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time thinking, well, wasn't anything wrong with it, right? It was just mom wouldn't let me have it, so
Right.
I was eating it.
Yeah.
But of course, as I grew older, I knew that was wrong, and that wasn't a pattern I continued.
Good. Yeah.
It was something I was able to stop doing
Mhm.
once I realized it wasn't healthy.
Right.
But still, there was other habits I developed, and I would realize that, and I have over the years noticed that when I eat, sometimes it's a make or break situation. It's almost like the world is ending tomorrow. Oh my God, let me eat this.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're gonna go, especially when I'm gonna start a new diet or eating.
Yeah,
It's like you better eat this now because you can't eat it for another month or something. But I know that all of those things that I've done in the past obviously have not worked because it was the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
It was the wrong way to look at things. And now I know that it has to be his way.
That's right.
It has to be his way.
Yeah.
Because if it's not his way and it's not me working with him as a connection, then it's not going to work. I'm going to fail every single time because these fad diets,
Right.
and there are plenty of things that do work for people, but you have to be in the right place at the right time in your mind with God in order to make those things work.
Absolutely.
So, and now I've got myself off track here
No,
a little
you're
bit.
fine.
But where I was going with my history is, and I'm going to wrap it up because I know there is a lot to my history, and we could probably have another session.
Right, yeah.
But I have always been someone who wanted to be loved. My dad was a hopeless romantic, and I think I just got it from him. Always watching the movies and listening to the songs. And so when I finally found my first love, it was after a summer how I'd lost like 50 pounds, really felt like finally got some confidence in myself and felt good. Met this guy named Adrian, who was the bad boy of the neighborhood anyway. So we ended up dating for like a little over a year.
Okay.
Got close really fast, fell in love. He actually even asked me to marry him. So we had this whole future plan together. And I didn't really know the depth of the hardship he was facing in his life. I knew he had a very abusive father. He was an alcoholic. His mother didn't pay attention to any of it, just covered it up with buying him whatever he wanted. And very unfortunate incident, incidents led to him taking his own life. Him taking his own life totally devastated me, wrecked me. And about 3 days after he took his life, I attempted to take my own. And I don't even remember, still to this day, don't remember all the details of what happened when I did that. All I know is my mother found me, and I had wrapped a cord around my neck and had strangulation marks around my neck and had popped blood vessels in my eyes, in my neck, and everything. And my mom immediately, she didn't call an ambulance or anything. I guess her first reaction was to call. It was a family doctor, but she was like a very, very close friend of ours, and which she, of course, said bring her in right away. That night, they ended up taking me to a mental hospital to get psychiatric help, which that, unfortunately, I wasn't there long, which was a good thing, but that deeply impacted me, that experience too.
Okay.
That wasn't a good place. That place actually ended up shutting down because they had a lot of wrong practices going on there. The doctor was illegally practicing things on girls that he wasn't supposed to be. Molesting girls, and I was one of the girls that went through these things with that doctor. And the first night I was admitted there, they actually put me in the padded room and left me there.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I say these things because these are all little things that have led to my life battles, my struggles. So that was it. And one of the main big things that happened, my father also, right before Adrian took his life, got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer and was given 6 months to live. So I was struggling with that, lost Adrian, and along the road was losing relatives that were dying for various reasons. And so it was a a lifelong battle. After Adrian passed, after I get out of the hospital, kind of pushing forward through a little bit here, I was in the mentality of, I don't care about myself anymore.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of trauma. I mean, at any age, really, but at the age of, in your teens or whatever, that is a lot of trauma to go through. And it's good that you're recognizing that these main points that are, because one of the questions I was going to ask you is, and you may know the answer now, and if you don't, that's okay, but what is the one root issue that led you to having some of these struggles, the struggle with the body image?
That right there is one of the main things, and then there's another one I'm going to bring up in just a moment. That kind of led to just the bulk of why I'm as big as I am right now. That has been just the main struggle for me.
Yeah.
So leading past that, I didn't care at that point about myself at all. And I grew up in a very, Christian home, loving home. We talked about God. We went to church. We did all of that.
Yeah.
So I knew who God was.
Right.
I had a relationship with him. I prayed every night. But going through all these things, as many people do when they go through hardships, they just like, well, if God's real, then why in the world
would he
let all this happen to me? When I wanted love for so long and I finally find it, and then it just got ripped out of my life. And now my dad is dying, the other man in my life who's supposed to be there for me is not going to be there for me. So moving forward, I started drinking heavily, started smoking pot all the time, then started having promiscuous sex with people I didn't even know or care about. And then that led to getting into a relationship with someone that one night he was trying to talk me into doing some things that I was not comfortable with doing. And he, I guess, gave me a date rape drug, and he and a friend ended up raping me.
Oh my goodness.
And I suppressed that and didn't remember that at all till probably a year later. Wow. And then there was some kind of trigger, and then all of a sudden all that came flooding back to me. And I just was all overwhelmed again, traumatized.
So throughout all of these different traumas, were you continually, I know before you had said with the food, like you stopped kind of hiding it, but were you binging and things like that? Or was it kind of,
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, is that through these moments of things, it was you gotta feed your fear, you gotta feed you're sad or upset, and I would use whatever excuse I could to numb myself with food. And I wasn't the person who would just like sometimes see these people who just go get like huge amounts of food and just eat. It wasn't like that for me. It was just get the wrong things and just eat really fast, a lot of the wrong things, and just for longer periods of time, instead of all at once. That's what it was for me. But it was as typically as everybody usually does, as, oh, I'm happy, let's eat. Oh, I'm sad, let's eat. Oh, I don't care, every excuse that anybody can use to comfort themselves. That's what I was doing.
And I want to point out too, because I think this is something that is important to note, that it's not just people who physically are larger that struggle with eating.
Exactly.
And I think that our culture will tell you that. And I haven't really talked about this with myself, but I will just very briefly that I had started noticing probably within the last year where I began creating a habit of every time my children went to bed, I started going for a snack that was unhealthy. And I realized that it's that habitual thing, and I think that's kind of where you can relate to too.
Exactly.
It's not always a I don't even know I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it's not just a struggle that, I don't know. I kind of just lost it, but I just wanted to make that kind of point out that
any size,
I think
everybody
we can
struggles.
that we can all struggle, and it can kind of manifest in different ways.
Yeah.
But I have I've begun struggling with that last year, and when you recognize it, that's when you want to make a plan. You know? So
exactly. Okay. Yep. So those are the main things, and then, you know, after that happened, the time in which that came back to me, the trauma from the rape, I was married.
Okay.
I had gotten married, but I got married because I just wanted to settle.
Right.
So the person I married, and we're friends now, and he may watch this. Hi.
Yeah.
we have a really excellent friendship now that we're developing, and that is through prayer, because I've been praying, and he knows that we've talked, and that I've been praying for him and continue to pray for him every day, because we do have 2 children together, but our relationship has been very, very rocky, and it was for years where there was years where we weren't talking to each other at all. We were very angry and mad with each other. And so the relationship I have had with him is also attributed to that. Over the years, we got married in '98, which was just on the heels of all these things happening, because I didn't want to be hurt anymore, and I just wanted to settle, and let me just find someone to settle down with. And the problem with that is, you know, when you settle, you're not doing yourself a good service, and you're not doing the other person a service either, because, you know, we're pretty much going for, it was the physical side of things more than anything. That, and we both had lost someone to suicide, so we did find common. We did have a connection. We did have a common ground, but we kind of just let the other things fall by the wayside. The important things that really mattered, especially, you know, God being the main thing. Because when I met him, he said he was an atheist. And at that time, though, I was struggling with my faith, so it didn't matter at that moment. But we have, like I said, we have 2 beautiful children, so I would never change those circumstances because I have my babies out of it. But because of the years of being married to him, and we're still married at this moment, we're actually getting ready to be divorced. So life is getting ready to change in a big way for me. But through the years of struggling with him and fighting and things, I think I have kind of, a lot of my weight is kind of like a hiding place. You know, I've heard that a lot when you hear stories of people who've been assaulted, sexually assaulted or raped. It's not exactly like they put on weight, but there's also, you will hear them, victims, say that they feel like they need to escape, or they're a prison in their own bodies. And I do feel that way. There's been many times, I don't want to start crying, I'm not going to cry. There's been many times when I will see a picture of myself, and I'll be like, who is that? I don't feel like that. I don't want to cry. I don't feel like that's me. I'm like, who ate me? I know that sounds funny, but I'm like, that's not me. You know, it's like, there's this person that has taken over my body and my mind, and I can't live the life I want to live. And I'm like, I pray, I cry, I'm like, God, please give me the strength to get out of this. And there's also that when you're so to a point where you're like, you look down, you're like, well, how much bigger can I get? Who cares, you know? Why not just eat another donut or whatever? You know, it's not going to hurt anything, right? Well, obviously it does, because the pounds keep going on, you know? So my plea today, you know, is I need help, you know? And this is what I told Amanda when I called her, was I said, I hear these stories, and I just absolutely love this concept of Kindred Women, but a lot of these stories I see are people who've already won the battle. And I'm like, good. I haven't won my battle. And so this is partly like me sharing my story because I want to help other women who are amidst the struggle. But I'm like putting out a cry here is I need I need a community around me. I can't do it by myself. I have a loving mom, I have a loving sister, I have a best friend, but we all have busy lives. We all have families, and it's very hard for, you know, no one can be like by my side every day, but if you have the more people you have a community around you, then the more you are able to have people who can call you, or you can call them, or you can go on a walk, or you can get a group of people to go to the movies together. You won't feel so alone. Yeah. So I'm putting a cry out there. Yes. I need friends. I need girls.
Well, let me ask you something. So are you connected in church right now?
Unfortunately, my job.
Okay.
I just got a full-time job, which is amazing. I got full-time. I've been there part-time for a long time. But the hours they're giving me, I don't have time.
Okay.
But Thursday and Friday, those are my off days. So what I'm hoping for now is to be able to find avenues where I can fill my days, my Thursdays and Fridays up with whatever, you know?
Well, you know, I just want to encourage you that I know.
And I love community church, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I love it. That's my place.
You know, that's where we go now, and I can definitely tell you that when I got into a Bible study, that's where the people around me started being there for me. And I will challenge you to that too. If you're going to a church and you're not going to a Bible study, you need to get into a Bible study.
Yes.
You know, with women, or if you're a man and you're watching or listening, you have to get into the community of people that are going to lift you up and they're going to be praying for you. And you can drop a text and say, look, I'm really struggling today. Can you call me, or can you pray for me? Something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that was you know.
So are you off on like Mondays?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm only off on Thursdays and Fridays. Okay. But I will utilize, and I'm off at 6, so I'm utilizing every hour that I can get. Because I just need the community of others just to lean on. You know, even if we're just sitting on the couch watching a movie and stuff, you know, whatever. I need that community of girls around me. And I know there's other girls out there who feel the same way I do. That are like, where are my friends?
Where are my girls? Right, yes.
But I was going to just, you know, share a few little touching points here, that things that have inspired me, that continue to inspire me. Of course, these are my favorite 3 Bible verses that I say all the time. Is Hebrews 11:1.
That's my life verse.
I love that.
Me too.
Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen, which is like, you know, just looking for the future, and God just knowing that God has got such great plans for you. Kind of coincides with Jeremiah 29:11 too, which is awesome. And Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then Ephesians 3:20. And this is one I share with my partners when I'm praying for them all the time, is through the power of the Holy Spirit in us, God will bless us infinitely more than we could ever ask or think. And I love that last part, because we know infinite means doesn't ever stop. It means God is going to continue to bless you. And I'm a list maker, and I like sometimes, to envision when you make a list, you know, if you're a list maker.
I'm a list maker, girl.
Go maker. That God will keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny.
That's so good.
And I like things that inspire me. I brought a couple books with me.
Good.
That this book right here, this is a devotional version, but this is Made to Crave. And I had the book, and your mama, your mama gave me the book. She was reading it in the Bible study. She let me borrow it. And I read it twice, and then I gave it back to her. And then I bought my own copy.
Well, good.
And then I got the devotional, and I've got another version of, I think it's like a Bible study version too.
And this is Lisa Turkhurst.
Lisa Turkhurst, yes. Girls. Anything by her is awesome.
It is true. It is true.
I'm telling you. I love this girl. I want to meet her one day.
I know.
She's so awesome.
She is.
And then this is the book, the most recent book I just read.
Okay.
David Jeremiah,
I've heard of David Jeremiah.
Overcomer. He's an older gentleman. He is so knowledgeable and just real.
Let me borrow that book.
Hey, you can, girl. And he's coming soon. I think it's like April 4th.
Okay.
Any locals? Y'all can get free tickets to come see him doing the Overcomer series.
Wow. Okay.
So him,
awesome.
And then let me get the notebook back here. Okay. So yes, Made to Crave. I said that, and then music. I mean, worship music.
Yep.
Y'all, you got to listen to some music when you feel like you need to be lifted up.
Absolutely.
Mandisa is one of my favorites.
Me too. I love her.
I just love Mandisa. I love Plum. Natalie Grant.
Okay, good.
I mean, and Powerful Speakers. Christine Kane.
Yes.
Lisa Bevere, Joyce Meyer.
Yeah, those are awesome women.
Lisa Harper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could keep going.
Right? Yeah, yeah. But they are. They are beautiful women of God.
Beautiful women of God. Men are good too. We don't want to leave the boys
right,
out.
Right.
Know?
Yeah.
Joel Osteen, Stephen Furtick.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some awesome people out there. But I think the most important thing is I have to remind myself. And my mom always tells me, knowledge is power. You got to feed your soul.
Yeah,
you know. And if you need something, whatever it is, God's got it for you.
Yeah.
God
and the important thing is, and this is something that I've just kind of recognized in my life with beginning Kindred Women, is you have to feed your soul with good things.
Oh, yes.
You know, because if you're just watching random things that you're, I mean, I don't want to be like, it's a complete waste of time. But I just started realizing, what am I doing with my time? You know, where I'm just watching some random show instead of maybe reading a book that I can, like that, and overcoming something, you know?
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Your
mama said one time, she said, well, you gotta eat, gotta eat what you want to, she said, you're not gonna eat trash, are you? I'm like, that's true. You wouldn't go eat trash. So don't, don't put it in you.
True.
Eat the good stuff.
That's right.
Eat the good stuff.
Well, and something that my mom has said before is...
I love her mama, y'all. She's
me
awesome.
too. Yeah, she is. She will actually be on around Mother's Day. Yay! We're going to do a little Mother's Day thing. But she would always say, garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
And so that can actually... like physically be food that you eat, but it can also be things that you're hearing and putting in your mind
and watching.
So if we are filling ourselves up the inside, then that's going to spring out and be the outside. So I can definitely see that.
Yep.
And one thing that she always used to say to me as I was growing up is that you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
Psalm 139:14. And I remembered sometimes just being so like rolling my eyes. Come on, Mom. How many times do you have to say that? But
you gotta love mamas.
Yes, and now I feel like it is just truly imprinted in me that I then now will say that to my children. So, and there's a book. I don't have the book. I actually bought it for a friend, her daughter. But so this is for the younger girls. There's a book. It's called Dear Girl, and it actually made me cry when I read it to Ava. But basically the story is just saying, like, these are for younger girls. Younger girls deal with this type of stuff too. Like, I think we need to really point that out. That,
because my struggles began when I was like 11, 12 years old. So.
And even 5 years old.
Yes.
I have met girls who I can see something is not connecting, that they don't feel enough. And I think as parents, we need to really... We need to be quiet too. About our own selves. Like, I don't talk about if there's something that's going on with my body. I don't talk about that in front of Ava or Wyatt, because I want them to know that they don't need to hear the negative things that I might be feeling. I might be complaining about something, but we need to keep that from them hearing that. But this book, I'll tag who the author is, but she writes this one page that I just thought was so beautiful. Is she says, look at yourself in the mirror and say thank you to something that makes you you.
Oh, I love that.
And how fitting is that for adults to do though too?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be perfect for a 5-year-old girl or even a boy to say those things, and that they learn that at a younger age.
That's
but
beautiful.
What if we did that? Go in front of the mirror and thank God for your freckles. Thank God for your brown eyes, or for your brown hair, for your blonde hair. Thank Him. Thank yourself for what you are made of, because we are made in God's image. And that is so important to,
That's awesome.
And especially to let the next generation realize that. So, now, so kind of, this is probably going to be maybe one of the last questions, but so as you've said that you're still in the midst of the battle, and I think that is, I think it's amazing and it's brave that you are coming on here, because you're not over it, you're through it, you're going through it.
Yep.
And so what does your day-to-day look like? What do you feel like some of the renewing of your mind. What kinds of things do you do?
Well, before my feet hit the ground, I'm praying.
Okay, awesome.
I'm thanking God that I woke up, you know, because He could, you know, I think one thing a lot of people take for granted is that God could take you while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter who you are,
Right.
if you work out, you're in the gym every day.
Exactly.
None of those things matter because God may have a plan to call you home. So if you wake up, you know, especially if you're not in the best of health, you need to thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do the best job the day before to take care of yourself. And if God's letting you live another day, it means He trusts you to take care of yourself today. So I thank Him.
Yeah.
And then my morning routine, of course, I have a son who I have to get ready for school. So I got to do that good stuff. And then before I start my shift, I'm reading the Word.
Good.
I'm reading the Word. I have a daily Bible that my best friend got me.
Okay.
And I read it every day. But beyond just that, those daily portions, you know, I love to lean on. I have a little scripture book that I wrote scriptures that touch me.
Okay.
And I read them. I'll sift through. And then sometimes I'll love to just take the Bible and just let God lead me to a passage.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, that's something, I don't know if anybody's done that before, or even the Daily Bread, if y'all have a Daily Bread little book, and just open it up to a random place where God leads you.
Before you go.
And I'm telling you, almost 99% of the time, it's something you absolutely need.
So you hear that, girls? Read your Bible.
Yes, you have to read the Word.
I mean, we can do all kinds of things. We can do the diets. We can do call on a friend. We can do watching TV. But we have to be in the Word. That's where your mind is going to change.
That's what since I'm a prayer partner and I pray with people every day, that's my job. You know, and we definitely need to be prayed up ourselves because we're feeding out to people every day. And we can't just be throwing out stuff that we don't know what we're talking about. And so I have to be prayed up for myself, and I have to be prayed up for all the people that God sends my way. And that's one of the prayers that I include is, God, you know who I need to talk to today. You know who's hurting. You know who needs what you've given me as a gift to share. The compassionate heart I have, and you know, and also the life experiences that I've gone through. And that the biggest reward to me is when I hear someone say, oh my gosh, I prayed for the right person and you were the right person.
Well, amen.
And that's good for me. And then beyond, you know, that type of thing, you know, making sure that, you know, I'm eating what I need to eat and I'm, you know, getting exercise and, you know, and I will be real with you, y'all, I have not set myself up on a plan right now yet. And I need to.
That was actually what I was going to ask.
I need to. And I keep putting it off. I had back problems where I was laid up for a few weeks. Because I threw my back out. And see, that's a prime thing right there that I was using as an excuse to.
But you know what? You are being honest. Like, and I love that about you because.
And I'm scared right now, y'all. I'm telling you.
But you can so. The thing is, when we bring stuff to the light, that's when it's going to take off. That's when God is going to begin to change because you've brought it to the attention. You know, and now is the time, you know, now's the time to go home.
In my past, when people have asked me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But, oh, good for you. Have you lost weight? Oh yeah, girl, I lost 20 pounds. I'm like, no, I have not. I gained 7. But this is the time when I prayed about this and God put it on my heart. And I literally said, are you serious? You want me to call Amanda and tell her to do this now?
She did, and it was good.
And I said, all right, I'll be obedient. I'll do it.
That's right.
So I prayed about it. Even on the way here, I was holding the steering wheel. I was like, oh, God, I'm going to do this. But I said, no, I'm going to do this because this is not just for me. This is for all of you.
Right.
You know, and because I'm tired of hiding behind whatever it is I'm hiding behind, you know.
Well, you know, I encourage you to even just write down things that you are. You know, I am enough. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am unique. I am brave. I am worthy. I am loved. And even for you, plastering that across your house, across your room, and get a plan. You know, I'm going to challenge you to do that. Figure out a plan, and then you send that plan to me so I can see it. Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you think you want to add, or?
I guess just, if anybody else has any questions, hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Call me.
And you can even leave a comment under the Facebook when I post it on Facebook.
Under Kindred Women.
And you can answer questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
This
down.
was awesome. Thank you so much. I love your raw and your realness, and God's going to bless you.
And I challenge y'all too. If y'all have something on your heart and you're scared about it, bring it. Come on.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
We got to help each other.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.